Hi. Today I am going to explain the drugs used for peptic ulcer. As usual, before going to discuss about the drugs, we must know some basic concept about the ulceration. What are the factors is responsible for the ulcer formation? Then what are the factors is going to protect the ulcer formation? Because it is very mandatory. If you understand this basic concept, it's very easy to understand and very easy to interpret the mechanism of drugs. So we can go for the first step. So what is ulcer? We know that the ulcer means it's erosion of mucous membrane. It's called as ulcer. The same thing is happen on the GI tract. Either it is esophageal or stomach or duodenal. So it is called as esophageal ulcer or gastric ulcer or duodenal ulcer. The ulcer formations, it's mainly due to the imbalance between the aggressive factor and defensive factor. That means normally our body, some of the factors is responsible for the ulcer formations. So it is called as aggressive factors. Example, pepsin, gastrin and hydrochloric acids. These are the same substance, it's responsible for the food metabolism. That's apart. Apart from that, these are aggressive factors which may cause the ulcer. The same time, in other side, some of the factors, example, gastric mucosa, then prostaglandins, these are the substance is going to protect the stomach from the aggressive factors. So it's always maintain the balance. When it's become imbalance, it may cause the ulcer formation. Example, when the hydrochloric acid secretion is more, that time the mucous membrane is not sufficient to protect the gastric mucosa, means that time it's produce the ulcer formations. So that's a basic concept. Normally, the gastric acid secretion process has been divided into three different phases. One is cephalic phase, the second one is gastric phase, the third one is intestinal phase. So first we can going to discuss the cephalic phase. That means gastric acid secretion is going to controlled by the nerve. That means you just imagine during your hungry situation, whenever you can see some spicy foods, immediately you can get the salivation, you can feel more hungry. So what is happening exactly? Whenever you can see the spicy food, immediately your vagus nerve is going to activate. So the vagus nerve is going to stimulate, it's going to stimulate the stomach to produce the gastric acid secretion. So that is the first phase, cephalic phase. The second phase is gastric phase. In that phase, your gastric acid secretion, that means hydrochloric acid secretion, is going to controlled by presence of food material. That means whenever you can have the food, it's going to enlargement of stomach. That signal is going to give the brain, immediately is going to stimulate the vagus nerve. So vagus nerve is going to responsible for the releasing of acetylcholine. It's going to stimulate the gastric acid secretion. That is second phase. The third phase is intestinal phase. First two phases is responsible for the gastric acid secretion, but actually in third phase, the gastric acid secretion, that means hydrochloric acid secretion, is going to decrease. You just imagine, whenever you can have the high fatty meal, you can feel the dampness. That is exactly intestinal phase. That means during the presence of high fatty meal, the acid secretion is going to reduce. At the same time, your GI motility also is going to reduce. That's a reason whenever you can have a high fatty meal, you can feel the dampness. It takes more time to emptying the contents. That's a reason. So this gastric acid secretion, that means hydrochloric acid secretion, is going to control by these three different phases. That is the basics concept about the gastric acid secretions. So now we know the basics concept about the gastric acid formation and different phases responsible for the hydrochloric acid secretion and different aggressive and defensive factors responsible for the ulcer production and ulcer formation. Here I want to include another one important point, that means the ulcer formations, it's also due to the some of the microorganisms. The organism name is called as H. pylori. It's actually gram-negative bacteria. Whenever you can have some contaminated food, that means H. pylori contaminated foods, it may cause the formation of gastric ulcer. Now we can go for the what is exact mechanism for hydrochloric acid secretion. In GAT, the peritoneal cells is responsible for the formation of hydrochloric acid. So we can go for the detailed mechanism of acid secretion process. Okay, we just imagine this is a peritoneal cell. So the peritoneal cell is having a different types of receptors. It's having a muscarinic receptor, it's having a histaminic receptors, and it's also having prostaglandin and gastrin receptors. The peritoneal cell is responsible for the formation of hydrochloric acid. So how your peritoneal cell is going to secrete the acid? So we can go for the detailed pictorial representation here. You just imagine whenever you can see some spicy food, immediately you can get the salivation, you can feel hungry. So what is happening exactly? So whenever you can see the food, immediately your vagus nerve is going to stimulate. Once the vagus nerve is going to stimulate means it's going to release the acetylcholine. This acetylcholine is going to act as a neurotransmitter. It's going to bind on the muscarinic receptor present on the surface of peritoneal cell. The subtype is M3 receptor. So once this acetylcholine is going to bind on the M3 receptor, it's undergone the conformational changes. It's going to release the secondary messenger. The secondary messenger is calcium ions. So this calcium ions is going to stimulate the proton pump to exchange the hydrogen ions. So at the same time, the parallel side, through the chloride ion channel, the chlorine ions also is going to enter. So this hydrogen ion and the chlorine ions is going to conjoin together to form a hydrochloric acid. That is the first concept. So the second one is the released acetylcholine is going to bind on the histaminoside. The histaminoside is having a both gastrin and muscarinic receptor. So this the released acetylcholine is going to bind on the histaminoside. It's going to release of histamine. The histamine is going to bind on the own histaminic receptor. It present on the peritoneal cell. The subtype is H2 receptor. Here also the same things happens. Once the histamine is going to bind on the H2 receptor, it's undergone the conformational change. It's going to release the cyclic AMP is a primary messenger. The secondary messenger is calcium ions. Here also same. The calcium ions is going to act on the proton pump. It's going to donate the hydrogen ions for the formation of hydrochloric acid secretions. So this is overall mechanisms due to the acetylcholine. So the next one is gastrin. Here also same. The gastrin is directly going to bind on the gastrin receptor present over the peritoneal cell. Is directly going to activate the proton pump to formation of hydrochloric acid. Otherwise, the same gastrin is going to bind on the histaminoside. It's going to release of histamine. That histamine is going to bind the histaminic receptor that is responsible for the same activation of proton pump. So the three things is directly acetylcholine, directly gastrin, then histamine. These three substances is going to stimulate the proton pump to donate the hydrogen ions for the formation of hydrochloric acid secretion. That is entirely one side. The parallelly, the second side, chloride ions are negative charged. How it's enter into the peritoneal cell? That is another one important concept is there. So inside the peritoneal cell, the free water molecule and the carbon dioxide is going to conjoin together to form a carbonic acid. This reaction has been catalyzed by the important enzyme. It is called as carbonic anhydrase enzyme. It further is going to dissociate into free hydrogen ions and free bicarbonate ions. Your proton pump is going to pump the free hydrogen ions. At the same time, the bicarbonate ions is responsible for exchange of chloride ions by antiphore mechanism. So now hydrogen ion is there. At the same time, chloride ion is there. Both the substances conjoin together to form a hydrochloric acid. That is second concept. Still now I said either histamine or gastrin, otherwise acetylcholine. These are the substance it's responsible for the hydrochloric acid secretion because it's going to stimulate the proton pump for the donate the hydrogen ion for gastric acid secretion. So whatever the substance, either it is a histamine or acetylcholine or gastrin, it's act through proton pump. So the proton pump is nothing but it's hydrogen potassium ATPase enzyme. It's continuously exchange the potassium ion and the hydrogen ions. In other side, the chloride ions are exchanged by the bicarbonate ion. So that's a concept. So till now we can understand the basic hydrochloric acid formation process. At the same time, in peritoneal cell itself, some of another receptor is there, that is prostaglandin receptor. That prostaglandin receptor is act by defensive mechanism. Whenever the prostaglandin substance is going to bind on the prostaglandin receptor, it directly inhibit the gastrin mediated acid secretion. At the same time, it's going to inhibit the secondary messenger for gastric acid secretion. I hope now you can understand the detailed mechanism of hydrochloric acid formation. That is very important because the hydrochloric acid is one of the main culprit to cause the ulceration. We know already that gram-negative bacteria H. pylori also responsible for the gastric ulcer, but the main thing is hydrochloric acid. Okay, now we can come back to the drugs. Normally, whenever we can feel the acidity or ulcer symptoms, immediately we can use the antacid. So antacids are, it's not reduce the ulcer formation. That means it's just going to neutralize the hydrochloric acid. That's all. Because the antacids are, it's an alkaline substance. It's going to neutralize the acids. That's a concept. Further, it's going to divide into the systemic antacid and non-systemic antacid. But whatever the mechanism is, just is going to neutralize the acids. That's all. But it's never going to reduce the acid secretion. It's never going to reduce the ulcer formation. It's just these are the substances going to neutralize the acid content. That's all. Now we can come to the some unique or specific drugs. Yeah. The famous class drugs are H2 antagonist, cimetidine, ranitidine, famotidine, all kind of drugs. Simply the cimetidine and ranitidine drugs, it's going to bind on the H2 receptor. It's going to inhibit the gastric acid formation. So it is comes under the anti-secretory drugs. The second category drugs, principally we can say gastrin antagonist, gastrin mediated hydrochloric acid secretion, which has been blocked by gastrin antagonist. Then anticholinergic drugs. We know that the vagus nerve stimulate means directly the acetylcholine is going to release. That acetylcholine is stimulate the gastric acid secretion by two mechanisms. Either it's going to directly bind on muscarinic receptor, otherwise the acetylcholine is going to bind on the histaminocyte. It's going to release the histamine. That histamine is going to bind on the histaminic receptor. That one is responsible for the ulcer formation. That's a thing. So principally we can say anticholinergic drugs is going to block the acetylcholine mediated hydrochloric acid formations. That's a second category drugs. Whatever it is, either we can use anticholinergic or gastrin antagonist, otherwise histamine antagonist, whatever it is, the main thing is proton pump. So now the famous class of drug is proton pump inhibitor. The drugs are omeprazole, rabeprazole, lansoprazole. These all the drugs is going to inhibit the proton pump. That means hydrogen potassium ATPase enzyme. The enzyme is responsible for exchange of hydrogen ions and potassium ions. That means it's going to donate the important hydrogen ions for formation of hydrochloric acids. So whatever it is, either histamine or acetylcholine or gastrin, it's act through the proton pump. So we can directly inhibit the proton pump. The omeprazole class drugs is going to block the proton pump, so it can't able to donate the hydrogen ions. Once lack of hydrogen ions, it can't able to synthesize the hydrochloric acid. That's a concept. So now antacid is the first category drugs. The second one is anti-secretory drugs. These all the drugs are is going to reduce the hydrochloric acid secretion. That is second mechanism. Apart from that, next one category is that is ulcer productive drugs. Example, sucralfate. So what's the mechanism of sucralfate means? Whenever you can have the sucralfate, it's going to bind and is going to product the mucous membrane. If it is already ulcer formation is there means it's going to bind with the ulceration area. It's going to product the ulcer layer to prevent the expose of that area from the hydrochloric acid. So it's going to used for ulcer productive mechanism. It's going to prevent the worsen the condition. That is third category drugs. Next category is ulcer healing drugs. In this category, one and only the natural substance is there. The substance is carboxyl sodium. Actually, it's a main active constituent of licorice. The only substance is responsible for ulcer healing. Nowadays, we can use the local anesthetics also in the treatment for gastric ulcer. So the main motto of this drug is it just give the symptomatic relief from the ulcer pain. So it's always available in the antacid formulations. So whenever you can have this drug, it's going to conduct the wound area. It's going to inhibit the impulse conduction of pain sensation. So the patient can't able to sense the ulcer pain. So it just give the relief from the pain. That's all. That's a major mechanism for local anesthetic. Still now we have discussed 5 different class of drugs. The first one is antacid drugs. It's going to neutralize the acids. That's all. The next one is anti-secretory drugs. The first one is H2 antagonist, ranitidine, cimetidine, loratadine. All those drugs is going to inhibit the H2 receptor. So histamine mediated gastric acid secretion. That means hydrochloric acid secretion is going to inhibit it. Then anticholinergic, acetylcholine mediated hydrochloric acid secretion has been inhibited. The next important category is proton pump inhibitor. So it's going to completely block the hydrogen potassium ATPase enzyme. So we can't able to donate the hydrogen ions. So completely block the hydrochloric acid secretion is possible by this class of drugs. The next category is ulcer productive, sucralfate. Then ulcer healing, carboxyl sodium. Then local anesthetics. Another one important category drug is that is used for only for microorganism. I already say that ulceration, gastric ulceration is also caused due to the microorganism. The organism is called as H. pylori. It's a gram-negative bacteria. So in this case, we must use combination therapy. We can include different kind of antibiotics in different dose. Then anti-secretory drugs, ulcer productive drugs and ulcer healing drugs. So we must include the combination therapy, then only we can eradicate the organism and also treat the ulcer. So this is the overall mechanism of anti-ulcer drugs. I hope you got some information from this video. If you have any queries or comments, feel free to write in